Hi, everyone. This is Amanda with your 5-minute or less lesson on an APA rule. So what this rule is about acronyms or abbreviations, and it is Rule 4.22 and beyond, and it starts on page 106 in your APA manual. But once you kind of get used to the rule, you don't need to go back to the manual because you'll know what you're doing with it. That'll be great. So if you're new to using APA, then one of the things that you're going to want to start getting used to doing is using abbreviations appropriately. So an abbreviation is just where you have a long title or set of words or something that you don't want to have to type them out every single time that you're writing about it in your paper. So for example, if I want to write about the American Heart Association and I'm going to write about the American Heart Association throughout my paper, it gets a little wordy to say American Heart Association, American Heart Association, American Heart Association, like over and over and over again. I may just want to use the acronym AHA or the abbreviation and just put AHA instead so that it's a little easier on the reader's eyes and I don't have to type so much. So the first big question is whether or not it's appropriate to use an abbreviation. And sometimes people don't know about the APA rule. One of the things that they assume is that they have to use abbreviations. And the answer to that is that you don't actually have to use abbreviations every time. You need to really kind of think about whether or not you're using the abbreviation a bunch, or if you're just using it like twice, then maybe it's not worth messing with to try to make your reader remember what that abbreviation was when they get down to page 4 and they're like, what, AHA, what was that again? And they have to go back. It's kind of a pain. But if it's something that you're using throughout your paper, then you probably want to go ahead and use it. So let me teach you real fast about how to use abbreviations. This is just an old paper of mine. And in the first paragraph here, I've used abbreviations a couple of times. Now, again, with my disclaimer that this is old, and so you can go in there and for bonus points, try to find all my mistakes because I know I make them. So in this one, so you see here I have the United States Department of Education. Now I could actually shorten that to USDE, but I only really mentioned the United States Department of Education in this one sentence in this paper, so it would be silly for me to do an acronym for that. So I'm not going to bother. However, this paper is about the experiences of people who have disabilities, or PWD. So I go ahead, and this is the first time in my paper that I'm going to refer to people with disabilities. So I'm going to go ahead and write persons with a disability, and then after I've written it out the first time, then I'm going to put in parentheses after, I'm going to put PWD. Okay, so that's how you do it. Persons with disability, PWD. And then from that point on, forever and ever in my paper, anytime I refer to a person with a disability, I need to use PWD. So you can see that I've done that throughout the rest of the paper. I cannot go back and forth. I can't just go suddenly start writing it out again because the APA book actually tells you not to do that. It says once you've committed to using your acronym, you need to use it from that point on. And you can see I actually already did it here with activities of daily living as well. This one is a acronym that I needed to make plural, and so I just, without putting a hyphen there, apostrophe there, you don't need an apostrophe to make something plural when it's an acronym. So you're just going to put the S, even if that feels a little weird to you, just put the S after there in small letter. So that's that. So how do you know if something needs to be an acronym or not? Maybe I'm using something like HIV that seems to be pretty well known. Do I really have to write that out the first time? Well, there's a rule for that. The APA tells you that as long as it's in the Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, and they specify 2005 in their blue book, then it's okay to not write it out the first time. And that's the only time they give you permission to do it. If it's in the Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary, then you don't have to write it out. But that's the only exception that they give you. So the good news is Merriam-Webster does exist online. However, if you have a really picky, pedantic teacher who's like, it says 2005 in my book, then you may want to just run that by your teacher before you do it. But other than that, most teachers are going to be pretty flexible. You can just go to the dictionary online and type in what you're curious about. IV, like I start IVs in the hospital all the time. So I'm going to type in IV just to see if I need to really write out intravenous therapy. And guess what? It's in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So I can just use IV without writing it out the first time. But let's see if our American Heart Association is there. I'm going to move my microphone for a second. American Heart. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to need to do AHA. There we go, like that. And the American Heart Association is not actually in the dictionary as AHA. It does give me aha, so that's a nice aha moment, but no American Heart Association. So I'm going to have to write that out the first time so that my readers are really clear on what I'm talking about. So that's acronyms in 5 minutes or less. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you for the next blog. Oh, please go ahead and subscribe, and there's a little bell on the YouTube window that you can tap, and it'll give you a notification whenever I record a new video, so you can stay up on all that. Please like, comment, share with your friends, tag a friend. I'm really trying to have some growth in my channel, so I really appreciate it. Thank you.